In this tutorial, we are going to talk about the nodal analysis. The main basic idea in nodal analysis. First, what is nodal analysis? Nodal analysis determines the branches in what? In a circuit, and also the voltage at what? An individual nodes. Nodal analysis, from the word nodes, this is the nodes. Here we have nodes, here we have nodes. Here is what nodes. So we have how many nodes? We have node 1, let's say V1, node 2, let's call it V2, node what? Node 3, let's call it V3. So also we know here is what? Here is the source of ground, which is what? Which is known as 0. So therefore, the question says use nodal analysis to find the current through and what? And voltage drop across what? Across the 5 ohm resistor. So how can I first start with this question? So the question says we are to determine what the voltage across what? Across the 5 ohm resistor, and also we are to find what? We are to find the current. So the first thing to do is we have to look the first node. So in nodal analysis, we have to determine what? The nodes, node 1 and what? And node 2. So from what? From node 1 to node 2, we're having what? V1 and what? And V2. So therefore I have to say what? I have to say V1 minus what? Minus V2 over what? Over what? Over the resistance between V1 and what? And V2. The main thing I need you to know is V1, it has two directions. Not from what? It has the direction. This is what we call branch. From here to here is branch. The branch between V1 is what? It can cross V2, and also it can cross to what? It can cross to V3, but it cannot go down to what? To this current, because we are having what? Because we are having current. And therefore this is the not what? V1. So therefore the current, it is going down through what? Through V1. So if it is going down through what? Through the node 1, which is V1, so therefore the current will be what? Will be negative 1. But if the current, it is going through the node, so therefore it will become what? It will become positive 1. So therefore for here, our what? Our current, it is what? It is negative 1, because what? The current, it is going down away what? Away the voltage. So therefore the voltage go from here to here, V1 minus what? Minus V2. The resistance between V1 and V2 is what? Is 5 ohm. Let me put 5 ohm. So therefore plus, and then from V1 to what? To V3. So therefore V1 minus what? Minus V3 over what? Over the resistance, which is what? Which is 4. And therefore it is equal to the current. So what is the value of the current? The current, it is going away what? Away the what? Away the V1. So therefore it will become negative minus 1. So therefore I can simplify this as V1 over 5 minus what? Minus B2 over 5 plus what? V1 over 4 plus what? Plus V3 over 4, which is equals to minus 1. I hope you get it. So therefore V over 5 is the same thing as what? 1 over what? 1 over 5. So therefore what? 1 over 5 is what? 0. What? 0.2 what? 0.2 V1. Yeah, so therefore minus also 0. What? 0.2, but we have V2 plus 1 over 4. 1 over 4, it is what? 0.25 V1 plus what? 0.25 V3, which is equals to what? Which is equals to minus 1. So therefore I have to add the like terms. I'm having V1 here, and also I have what? V1 here. So therefore I will say what? V1 plus what? 0.2 plus what? 0.2. So I will have 2 plus 2, 4. I will have 0.4 what? 0.45. So therefore 0.45 V what? V1, and therefore minus 0.2 what? 0.2 V2 minus what? Minus V3, 0.25 V3, which is equals to minus 1. So therefore this is what? Let's call it equation 1. So I have the first equation. So the next thing to do is what? Is to calculate what? is to calculate the second equation. So how can I calculate second equation? To calculate the second equation, I have to move to what? To V2. Before I use V1 to calculate this equation, so therefore the next thing I will use what? I will use V2. So therefore if you check V2, V2 cannot go there. We cannot minus V2 to what? To V3. Because of what? Because we have currents. So therefore no need of V2 to go here. But V2 can go here, and also V2 can go what? The source of ground. So therefore for the second node, take note, I will have what? V2 minus what? Minus what? Minus V1. V2 will go here. V2 minus V1, their resistance is what? Their resistance is 5 ohm. Therefore plus what? Plus V2 minus what? From V2 to here we're having 0, source of ground. So therefore V2 minus what? 0 is the same thing as what? V2. So therefore over what? Over 1. So, and therefore we have to know that which is equals to, we have to check the what? Sorry, here I'm having one. We have to check the distance, the current. So here is V2. We are calculating for what? For the second node. Is the current going through the second node or going away what? Away the node. So therefore the current, it is going through what? Through the node. So therefore it is what? It is positive because it go through it. So therefore I will have what? I will have the value of 2. So therefore here is the same thing as what? V over what? It is the same thing as V2 over what? Over 5 minus V1 over 5 plus what? V2 over what? V2 over 1 is the same thing as what? Is the same thing as V2, which is equals to what? 2. So therefore, 1 over 5 is what? 0. What? 0.2 what? V what? V2 minus what? 1 over 5 is also the same thing as 0.2 V1 plus what? Plus the value of V2, which is equals to what? Which is equals to 2. So therefore, I have to add the like terms. 0.2 plus 1, I will have 1.25. So therefore, 1.2, okay, sorry, 1.2, because 1 here, 1 plus what? Plus 0.2, you have 1.2 only. So therefore, I'll have 1.2 V2 and also minus what? Minus V1. 0.2 what? 2 V1, which is equals to what? Which is equals to 2. So therefore, V1 comes first before V2. So therefore, 0.2 V1 plus what? Okay, I have negative sign plus 1.2 minus 0.2 V1 plus what? 1.2 V2, which is equals to what? 2. So therefore, this is my what? Second equation, equation 2. So I hope you understand how I find the first equation and what? And the second equation. So therefore, let's move to what? To the third node. Because we are having 3 nodes, so we have to calculate the first node, second node, and what? The third node, so that we can find what? The 3 equation. So therefore, let's move to what? To the V3. So as you can see, V3, the node in V3 can go here, and also what? It can go down, but cannot go to what? Cannot go to V2 because we have the currents. So therefore, the first thing to do is what? V what? We have V3 minus what? Minus V1. And therefore, V2 minus what? 0. Here is what? Source of ground. All this source of ground is what? Is 0. There is no more voltage here or currents or something else. So therefore, V3 minus what? It will come across here to what? V1 minus what? V1 over what? Over the resistance, which is what? Which is 4 ohm. So therefore plus what? You have to know that if you are calculating the nodal analysis and the voltage from a node to another node, you are going to minus it, and therefore you have to add another what? Another voltage to another node. As you can see, from V to what V1 I minus it, and also I will what divide by what by the resistance between the two. So therefore I have to what I have to add here will not supposed to be minus anymore, but it will be what positive sign. That is what I am going to tell you. This sign. So therefore I will say V3 minus 0 is the same thing as what V3 over what the resistance, which is what which is 2, and therefore it is what equals to. So therefore the current between this V3 there is a current, so therefore the current is going away, so it will become what minus 2, negative sign. So therefore I will say V3 over 4 minus what V1 over 4 plus what plus V3 over 2, which is equals to minus 2. Therefore 1 over what 1 over 4 I'm having what 0. What 0.25 V3. Okay, sorry, yes, I'm having V3. Therefore, minus 1 over 4, 0.25 V1 plus what? Plus 1 over 2, which is what? 1 over 2, it is the same thing as 0. What? 0.5 what? V3, which is equals to minus what? Minus 2. I hope you get it. So therefore, I have to add the like times V3 and what? And V3. So therefore, I will end up with what? 0.75 V3, and therefore what this plus this minus what 0.25 V1, which is equal to minus 2. But I have to first put the what V1 before what before V3. So therefore minus what minus 0.25 V1 plus what 0.7 what 5 V3, which is equal to minus 2. So therefore this is equation 3. So therefore I hope you get it. We find the first equation, second equation, and what? And we find the third equation. So let me put the equations that we have already solved. So therefore, in the first equation, we have what? We have the value of what? 0.45 V1 minus 0.2 V2 minus 0.25 V3, which is equals to minus 1. This is the first equation. So therefore, you all know that here is the second equation. So therefore, we have to put the what? The second equation that we find, which is minus 0.2 V1 plus what? 1.2 V2, which is equals to 2. And this is my third equation. So therefore, let me what? Substitute them and find the what? The value of what? Of my voltage and what? And the voltage across the 5 ohm resistor. So as you can see, we have the first equation, the second equation, and what? And the third equation. So we have to use the matrix form in order to find what? In order to find what? Voltage drop across what? Across the 5 ohm resistance. If we can see across the 5 ohm resistance, we have what? We have V1 minus what? V1 minus V2 over what? Over 5 ohm resistor. But we don't have the value of V1, and also we don't have the value of what? The value of V2. So we have to use matrix form to find the first voltage and what? And the second voltage. So therefore, let's use the matrix form. This is what? This is the first equation. 0.45 minus 0.2 minus 0.25. We have to use the Cramer's rule. So therefore, the second equation 0.2 and therefore 1.2 and V3 is 0 minus 0.25 0.75 and then V2 is 0 and V3 is what? 0.75. So therefore I have to first find the determinant of what? Of this matrix. If I want to find the determinant, I will say 0.45. I will delete this, I will delete this. I'm left with what? I'm left with what? I'm left with only this value. So therefore I have to say that I have to say 1.2 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 0.75. And also in matrix, I have positive sign, negative sign, and what? And positive sign. So therefore, I have to say plus, and therefore I have to multiply. I have minus what? Minus 0.2 bracket. So I delete this, I delete this. I delete this first line. So therefore, I'm having this, and then this. So therefore, 0.2 what? 0.2 multiplied by 0.75, and therefore 0 times this is what? Is 0. So therefore I'm having plus what? Plus, and then I will say, okay, I have positive, negative, and what? Positive. So here I'm having what? I'm having negative sign, because here is what? Here is positive sign. So therefore I'm having positive, negative, and therefore I'm having positive, and then minus what? Minus 0. What? 0.25. 0.25 multiplied by what? I will delete this, I will delete this. This times this is 0. So therefore, I'm having what? 0 minus what? 1.2 times what? 1.2 multiplied by what? Minus 0. What? 0. Minus 0. What? 0.25. So therefore, let me add them together. So if I multiply this bracket, I will get this, and also if I multiply 0.2 multiplied by what? 0.2 multiplied by 0.7, I'm having this, and also for the third one, I'm having what? 0.075. So therefore, I have to say 0.405 minus positive minus, I'm having what? Minus 0.03 minus what? Minus 0.075, and therefore 0.5 minus 0.03 minus what? 0.075. I will have what? 0.3. So therefore the determinant is what? Is 0.3. So now I have to find what? The value of voltage 1 and what? And voltage 2. So therefore, how can I find the value of voltage 1 and voltage 2? So I have to apply what? Apply the Cramer's rule. Here we apply the matrix form, and we have the determinant of what? Of the equation. So therefore, we have to use what? We have to use the Cramer's rule to find what? The voltage 1 and what? And voltage 2. So how can I use the Cramer's rule? If I just want to use the Cramer's rule, I would just want to say that from what? I'm looking for B1. So therefore, I have to first look at what? The equations. I'm having -2, -1, and what? And 2. This is my equation 1. So my equation 1, I'm having -1. My equation 2, I'm having 2. And therefore, my equation 3, I'm having what? I'm having what? -2. So the difference between the determinant and what? And finding the what? The value of voltage 1 is that if you are going to find the value of voltage 1, the first row, we have to eliminate it, and what? And put what? The equal sign values that we have. From the what? Equal sign, we have -2, -1, and therefore what? We're having 2. You have to understand that this is what? Our equation 1, and this is what? This is our equation 2, and this is what? This is the third equation. So I have to say that equation 1, I'm having -0.2, and therefore equation 2, I'm having 1.2. Equation 3, I'm having what? Sorry, equation 3, yeah, I'm having 0, and therefore from equation 1, V3 is 0.25, and therefore from equation 2, V3 is what? 0, and therefore V3 from equation 3 is 0.75. So therefore, I have to find what's the determinant of this matrix again. So I have to say -1. If you delete this, you delete this, you are left with what? 1.2 multiplied by what? 0.75, and therefore close bracket, you have negative sign, minus again 0.2. You delete this, you delete this. 2 times what? 2 times 0.75, because 0 times -2 is what? Is already 0. So therefore, we know our determinant. The determinant is what? 0.3. So therefore, I have to say I'm having positive sign as usual, and therefore I have -0.0.25 bracket. if you delete this, you delete this. You delete the first line and also you delete the what? The last line. So therefore you have 0.2 times 0, which is what? 0 minus what? 1 point what? 1.2 multiplied by what? Multiplied by what? Minus 2. If I multiply this bracket and the second bracket and the third bracket, I will have this. So therefore minus 0.9 plus 0.3 minus 0.6, I will have what? Minus what? Minus 1 point what? Minus 1.2. So therefore this is the value of what? This is the value of determinant y, which is equals minus what? Minus 1.2. So therefore I have to find the value of what? Determinant 2, so that I will find what? The value of what? Of the voltage. Voltage 1 and what? And voltage 2. Don't forget, here is the source of ground, which is 0 voltage. So therefore I have to find the value of the voltage 2. So therefore, to find the value of its determinants, I have to say that because I'm looking for what? For V2. So I have to eliminate what? Those values, those rows in what? In V2, in order to put my what? My equal signs, which are -2, -1, and what? And the value of what? 2. So therefore, the first equation I have what? 0.45, and the second equation minus 0.2, and the third equation minus what? Minus 0.5. And therefore, the second rule, I have to put my equal sign because I'm looking for what? For the determinant of V2. So therefore, I have to say minus 1, and therefore, okay, so this is my first equation. The first equation is minus 1, the second equation is 2, and therefore the third equation is what? Minus 2. So I have to put the third rule. I have 0.7 and therefore minus what? 0.2 25. So this is the first equation, and therefore the second equation is what? 0, and therefore the third equation is 0.75. So therefore, as usual, I will find the determinant of what? Of this matrix. So therefore 0.45 bracket, you delete this, you delete this. So therefore 2 multiplied by what? 0.75 minus 2 multiplied by 0 is what? Is 0. So therefore I have to say, don't forget with this positive sign, negative sign, and what? Positive sign. Here is positive sign, and here supposed to be negative sign. And also I'm having minus 1. So minus 1 multiplied by, you delete this, you delete this. 0 minus what? Minus 0.2 multiplied by 0.75. If you say minus what? This times this, you are getting 0. So therefore, no need of putting the 0. So therefore, have plus, I'm having what? Minus 0.1, minus 0.25. You delete this, you delete this. I will have minus what? Minus 0.2, minus 0.2 multiplied by what? Minus 2. Multiply by minus 2, and then also I'll see minus what? 2 multiplied by what? Minus 0.25. Minus 0.25. So therefore, if you multiply this bracket, you are getting 0.675, and therefore we have to say minus minus is positive sign, and if you multiply this bracket, you end up having your answer with negative sign, and you are going to multiply by 1. It is the same thing with that number. And therefore, the same thing, if you multiply the whole this, you will get what? 0.225, because here you are supposed to what? Multiply, you will get what? Positive sign, and also here you will get what? Negative sign. So if you minus it and multiply by 0.25, you are getting minus what? 0.225. So therefore I have to say 0.6775 minus what? 0.1 15 minus 0.225. So therefore 0.673 minus 0.15 minus 0.225, I will get what? 0.3. So therefore the value of what? The value of the second determinant is what? Is 0.3. So therefore we can find what? We can find the current through and what? And the voltage across what? Across the 5 ohm resistor. So therefore, if you could remember, according to Cramer's rule, if we are going to find what the value of x, y, and what and z, so we are saying we have to say that dx over what over the normal determinant. But we are not having what we are not having dx, but we are having what d1 and what d1 and what d2. So therefore, I have to see what determinant of what 1 over what over the general determinant. Determinant of 1 is minus what 1.2 over what 0.3. So therefore the second determinant over what over normal determinant, which will be equals to have 0.3 over what 0.3. So therefore minus 1.2 over 0.3 I'll have what negative 4, and therefore 0.3 I'll have what 1 voltage. So therefore, I already find my voltage 1, voltage 2. So now I have to find what? I have to find the current that is what? That is passing through what? Through the 5 ohm resistance. So therefore, I have to see what? V1 minus what? V2 over what? Over 5 ohm resistor. So therefore, I have to say the value of V1 minus 4, and therefore minus what? Minus V2. This is my V2, which is what? 1 over what? Over 5. So therefore, I'm having what? Minus 5 over what? Over 5, which is equals to what? Minus what? 1 amp. So this is the value of what? Of the current that is passing through the 5 ohm resistor. So what of the voltage? If I could find the voltage, I'll just say only V1 minus what? Minus V2, which is equal to the value of V1, it is what? Minus 4, and therefore minus what? Minus V2. What's the value of V2? The value of V2 is 1, so therefore which is equal to minus what? Minus 5 voltage. So therefore this is the end of this question in nodal analysis. I hope this video is more helpful to you in calculating different kind of problems in nodal analysis, because this is the hardest question but very simple question in nodal analysis. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends. Thank you for watching.